time between sales date, and go here. So now we can copy and paste what our objectives are during this function, and it looks like we need to find the difference between the order of times. So Python actually has another library for this called time delta. So the time delta means the difference, time is time. So 2 date times in Python. How do we do this? Oh, it's just subtracting. Thank you, Silent Ghost. He really helped us out here. Mr. Silent Ghost, you are the real MVP here. So over here, let's see, we just take the 2 date times and subtract them. So we have dates in an array. So let's, since we're going to be accessing 2 at a time, it makes more sense to use an index. And the operation we're trying to do is set a new date equals to the date of I plus 1 minus the date of I. So to do this, it makes sense to use a range. And then we also, since we're doing I plus 1, we're always going to be looking at the next one in the future. So we can't go all the way up to the end of date. We have to go to the end of date minus 1, because if not, we're going to go over. And I'll show you that right now. So this is the operation we're trying to do. Let's keep everything clean and just create a new array. Deltas, let's call it deltas, make it a new list. And then in deltas, we add the date I plus 1 minus date I, and this should create a time delta. So I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to show you like what happens if we don't do the minus 1. And it is going to go out of range, because we remember computers start counting from 0, and if it goes out of the range of what that it can access, then it doesn't know what to do and it's going to break. So that's why we have to do the length minus 1 in this example. And then if we run it, we have no errors, and we can print out the deltas to see like what came out. Misspelled deltas here. So we can see the time deltas is a data structure in seconds, but this isn't necessarily that useful. We got closer to our goal, so we can consider this done. But now we have to get this in a more usable format. So the next question that we have would be how to change time delta into seconds. So I know this off the top of my head. We want to basically go through the deltas and call the deltas I.seconds, and this will find the seconds. We can actually use a for in loop here, and then now that we have the seconds, we can print this out to see what is going on. So you see that there is a bunch of different time deltas. So this is not actually true because we're using the old for loop. There we go. The different time deltas here in seconds. So now we have to figure out the last step. We're getting closer, but we aren't quite there yet. We have all the seconds, and we see the time in seconds between sales, which is nice to know and nice to see, but we want to find the average to start predicting future sales for a given day, given week. So let's create a second variable called seconds and set it to 0, and we basically want to add, remember average is total divided by number added together. So to solve this, we want to first find the total, which is seconds equals all the time deltas added together. So now we have the seconds as the total, and then the numbers that we added together were the original dates, the number of orders. So we want to do the length of date. So now we have the final answer, and we can return that over here, and we can print this out and have 9018 as the final answer of the average number of seconds between sales. So now I'm thinking maybe it's more true if it was by the number of deltas. So let's see if there's a big difference between this. The best way to do it is just to test, and what seems more true is maybe a minute, so it's not a deal breaker. So let's just run with the date for now. So 9018 is the number of seconds between sales on average. So let's just run it based on both of them. We can return both over here. It doesn't hurt to have more data. More data is better than less data, as long as we don't have too much conflicting information. So now we have the number of seconds. We have the seconds for both, and we can print those out. But this is still not very useful. Let's go ahead and print this out as hours and minutes and seconds. So hours is seconds divided by 60 times 60, which is 3600, and then the minutes, which is seconds divided by 60, because there's 60 seconds in a minute. And then we also need to modulo that with 60 because we already took out the hours. Remember, the modulo is the remainder after you divided it. So now we have the last one, which is seconds, and that is just modulo 60, modulo 60, 60 times 60. Since there are 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. So now we can see what it is for the first one. Remember, these are in different currencies, so you need to convert them to be the same. A string is not the same as a number. So let's just make everything a string to keep it easy. So now you can see that it is 2 hours and 30 minutes and 18 seconds if we go by the date. If we run this again for the seconds based on our denominator as the number of deltas, which is basically dates minus 1. We can run this one more time and see that it's about the same, maybe 50 seconds of a difference. So it's not major, it's not a make or break. But if you care about precision, then it's really your call. I think that it is mostly based on the number of sales, but it is your data, so it's up to interpretation. Now that we have both of these, it's good to know that basically it's around 2 hours and 30 minutes. So this concludes our data analysis section. To recap, we found the number of sales per channel in each state, and also found the average time between sales. So we can mark these off as done. And this was showing sort of like how Python can really speed up your analysis. Everything you can do in Excel, you can do in Python. The real power is, since you already have this processing done, you could actually go ahead and, for example, you have another day's worth of sales coming in. You can use the same script since they are the same, and just change the name of the file and run it again, and it would work perfectly. So this is very powerful because you just have to write one script, change out one variable, and it will run the same operations day by day. So for example, imagine if you have a store and you have to do EO end of day sales logging. You can have one script and run it every day. If you want to expand on that, you can actually build tools to run it for you and have it text you the answers that you're looking for, and even automate the polling so you don't have to do it manually. So eventually you can build a automated data intelligence platform that does all of these steps from get, verify, clean to analyze, all automatedly, and This is how a lot of CRMs work. The CRMs and the analytics tools sell the dashboards, the presentation part, and perform all the analysis, the getting, the cleaning, and the analyzing for you. So this is a way to get a very precise dashboard, because you get to control everything there, and also it's sometimes cheaper, and also you get to control your data. The amount of power you get by learning how to do this is infinite, because with this knowledge you can really automate your business. You can automate the tedious spreadsheeting, the analysis parts of the pipeline, and with this you can find a lot of valuable insights. Like with this data, we can start building projections and building estimates for how long it will take to sell out inventory. We can narrow this down by product, by SKU, so on and so forth. The possibilities are endless. So with this data and this knowledge, you really get a leg up on your competition. So now we covered the analysis parts, we organized data, and we analyzed some sample sales data. Let's go ahead and go to the next part, which is the presentation, and really visualize this data in a graphical format. It's something that everybody can understand. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next section where we cover visualization and presentation.